Hello and welcome back to Elden Ring. This is part 9 of the run where we prepare for the Shadow of the Erdtree DLC. In this run we will go through every weapon, shield, armor set, talisman, spirit ash, physic tier, and cookbook that you will need no matter what build you're running in order to prepare. Now, last 2 times we went through Caria Manor and the Academy of Raya Lucaria. Here, Caria Manor is very, very important because we started off Ronnie's quest, and we are going to be continuing that in this part. So here we are starting at the Siofra River Well Depth Site of Grace, which you can get to here in Limgrave near the beginning of the Mistwood. So, heading down, immediately there's just a few items sprinkled about, nothing too special. Though there is a new crafting item in Dukist Herba, which these things are everywhere. But again, nothing special right away. So what we're going to be doing is heading down to this left wall, and we will be riding all the way to the end, ignoring all the enemies, at least for now, as they're very slow, and it is very easy to just ride past them. Now, in this back corner here, there's a golden rune 4 and a smithing stone 4. And then from there it is very easy to loop back and head towards this structure ruined building thing. And you can come up here, and again there are some items sprinkled about. Again, nothing too special. Though up here there is a somewhat unique sorcery. It's not very powerful, but if you want to try out some different wacky sorceries, then the drop down here, you'll see below us is a scarab. Destroying this will get you Oracle Bubbles. Like I said, not very strong, but it is unique. And coming over here, there's another Smithing Stone 4. And those Smithing Stone 4s are everything worth noting in this part. Though you can come here early to get a Smithing Stone 2, which could be worth it. As I said, that's pretty much everything worth noting here. So, off in this corner, beyond the building, is a elevator that you can take up. Much shorter than the elevator ride down to get into the well. And if you head off to the left corner and then left again, then there will be an item. And here, another item. Like I said, nothing too special. But riding up here, you can get away from that little introductory section and into the proper level, which really starts here at this site of grace. So you can grab that. There's a summoning pool in case you need help. And if you ride over there, you can get the cookbook for the consumable item of preserving boluses, which are used to cure scarlet rot. If you want that, you can go get that. Riding up here, we can get the map for Siafra River. This whole area. And riding up here, past these few enemies, you can get yourself a shield. This is very similar to the kite shield or heater shield and the different variants of that, so not as good as the brass shield, but it is another serviceable early game option. And here, near the site of grace, is a tower. You can interact with that to light one of 8 flames there. I will be showing where all 8 of those flames are, if you're interested. So the second one, you can just head left towards this fire, and then you can head up this pathway. There's going to be a few enemies here, so if you want to take them out in order to safely light the fire and get out, you can. If you want to just grab the fire and then beeline out of here, you can. Either way tends to work. But with that gotten, you can head out, and you should see this little island with a teleporter on it. This is a good marker because you can then head northeast. There's an electricity ball that shoots electricity. Don't worry about it. Don't stand still near it, but don't worry about it. Moving forward, here you can get the third fire. And the item I'm running towards doesn't matter. Just look around for another fire with a straightforward path that you can take. As you can see, there are more items just sprinkled about, but nothing really worth paying too much attention to. Dropping here, we can light another fire, and then we can head down this right pathway. Here there are 3 smithing stone 2. Again, if you wanted to come here early. And following this way, you are invincible while lighting that fire, so don't worry about it. And then you can continue heading north, where you'll get a site of grace and another summoning pool in case you need help. And then from there, you can head across this way, where there will be another one of these. Again, watch out for enemies. And then you can continue heading northeast, where the landscape will change a bit. So there are some new worries here. But there's another 3 smithing stone 2, and then in this grassy field, there's a scarab giving you another ash of war. This one being square off. The one that we've been using this entire run so far to great effect. And that will now let you keep the same Ash of War, but put a different affinity on your weapon to either increase the scaling or to give you some kind of elemental effect or some kind of status effect. And there by the rats, there's another fire that you can light. And here, there are lots of enemies, and some of them have bows. That's the main danger of this section. So, beware of that. As they do hurt. There we get the clarifying horn charm, which boosts resistance to sleep and madness. And here there's a stone sword key statue. It takes 2 in order to unlock this, and that brings you into Caelid. If you head up and then to the left, there's 1 stone sword key that you can get back. And then forward, you can fight 3 NPC invasions to get a talisman, and it will boost your equip load. And it's actually the strongest version of the talisman that boosts your equip load in this game, so it can be very difficult early on, but if you're willing to take on that challenge, you will be rewarded greatly for it. Here, there's another site of grace, and then heading down, you may want to take out the archers, as they will continue to shoot at you. Or you can head along this right side, where there'll be a natural bridge that you can take across. And heading across it, looking over to the right, you can follow this pathway for a rune arc, if that is something that interests you. And then up here, you can get a golden seed. And here you can take some precarious jumps in order to get onto this small ledge here, which will reward you with a stone sword key. And then you can make your way back up. From there, you can head back across the bridge, where you'll find this group of rat enemies. If you want, you can just run by and get the final fire. However, when you light the final fire, you get a text pop-up, and that stops you from doing things like rolling. So there, as you can see, we got the text pop-up, and that just means that you've lit all the fires, and you can now get access to a boss. So, running down here to the previous site of grace, if the enemies de-aggro from you, you can teleport back, though the run isn't too far. So, we're at this location, the Worshipper's Woods site of grace. And from here, you can head straight out. As you can see, there are some wooden structures there. That's the goal. So, avoid the balls of electricity. And you want to head up here, where you'll be rewarded with 2 smithing stone 3s. And then climbing up this ladder, there's some of these enemies. As you can see, a single heavy square off is enough to knock them down and allow you to get a critical. So, if you have Assassin's Cerulean Dagger, which I showed how to get in Liurnia right, then you can use square off, knock them down to 1 knee, get the critical, and that will give you all of your FP back. Very sustainable, very powerful. And heading down here, there's a merchant.
Ooh, a customer.
From this merchant, you can purchase 3 stone sword keys, a cookbook to get you soap and oil pots, along with the weapon Shottel, which is a curved sword.
Goodbye till next.
Then you can take this drop down where there's some flower enemies, and more importantly, another smithing stone 4. And from there are some items sprinkled throughout here. Nothing as important though. So instead we are going to head back. There, as you can see, is the wooden structure we climbed up. And looking around, you should see this fire again. And then you can head from there straight south. And you can just keep heading all the way back, because there are a few things that we didn't get on this side. It's right by those 8 fires that I pointed out in the beginning. So over here, you can get a weapon in the horn bow and a golden rune 6. And some enemies will follow you down here. You may want to kill them, as there is an NPC to talk to nearby. And they will follow you all the way to that NPC. So, kill them, and then head up and to the right, where you'll once again see Blythe the Half-Wolf. And if you don't, head back to Carrier Manor, go through, talk to Ronnie, accept her deal.
Ah, apologies. I can see blood. I've tried all the gates. Perhaps it's... I recall that. Let's give him a... I jest. Besides, leave this place to me. If either of us learns anything...
Having talked to him, you can take this spirit spring up and bring it all the way to the end. There is a ghost 3 there. And continuing over, around this corner at the end here, is a stone sword key. And then from there, you can take several drops down. So be careful, as missing these may result in death. So you may want to go on foot if you aren't super comfortable with traversing on horseback in those more precarious situations. From there, you can just head northeast, continuing through enemies until you find this knocked over pillar, and you can climb up it all the way up, at least to this waygate, which you can take to teleport you to a different location. So, heading towards this giant structure, there are 2 things inside of here. One isn't that important, but we'll grab it because it's on the way. And that's this scarab, which gets you the sorcery Great Oracle Bubble, which looks like that blue thing being thrown at us there. The second and more important thing is the Somber Smithing Stone 5, which is one of the rarest somber smithing stones there is. At least early on. And the items back here aren't too important. I was just grabbing them out of habit. They can be useful if you're someone who uses consumable items, as Dragon Wound Grease helps you against dragons, and dragons tend to be a bit tough, so it can help you out in some fights, but not super important. And over here, that is a boss. Killing them will get you the Dragon Halberd, which is a unique halberd, and the skill puts ice lightning onto your weapon, which is pretty neat. And there we get America's Scar Seal, somewhat unique, but there is a better version of it later on in the game. For now, continuing on down here, there's a few more items sprinkled about, the most notable of which being a Ghost Glowwort 4. So now you can get special ashes up to +4. And dropping down there, as you can see, brings us back to where we picked up the Golden Seed. And from here you can head to Siofra Riverbank and fight a boss here, because we lit all 8 fires. And fighting them will get you it will get you a Spirit Ash that has a bow. Not super special, but unique enough that I will point it out, but not go get it. We can go with. But here, teleporting over to Ronnie's Rise. This isn't part of Siofra River, but you do have to go talk to Blythe in Siofra River. And there's no better place to put this, but it's very important to do, so I'm gonna do it. Here, talk to Selvus.
Well, the task was not to own you. Well, now's as good. There's a glint to she owes. I'll write you a letter.
From there, you want to teleport over to the Waypoint Ruin Cellar, where you can then give that letter, or show the letter of introduction to Selen to further continue their quest line.
You are a so now. Well, Selvus is but fine. The stars, but long ago. Now he is, and so too.
And having done that, a teleporter off in Caelid will activate, and you'll be able to go fight Radahn. Though you may want to go talk to Blythe the Half-Wolf first for some additional dialogue. But that's everything in Siofra River, though there's still Ainzel River, which can be found off on the right side of Liurnia. So we're gonna head there and do that now. You may find it strange that up to this point I've been doing one area per part, but here I'm doing 2 parts in a single area, and there's a few reasons for that. The first is time, because I broke up Limgrave into 2 parts because it was really big, and I broke Liurnia up into 3 parts because it was massive, not including the 2 legacy dungeons. Whereas here, as you can see, we're not even 25 minutes in and we're already done. So These areas are a lot smaller, a lot easier to go through. And more than that, they aren't significant enough, in my mind, to give a single video to each area, but they're not insignificant enough to ignore entirely or to attach to something else. And so I figured the best middle ground would be to take Siofra and Einzel rivers and just attach them together. But here you can get a Smithing Stone 3, and you might be able to tell what the main enemy of this area is going to be. Though, it won't just be these things. Halfway through, it will transition to a different main enemy. Now here, you can go left, or you can go right. The right path is faster and easier, though it has less rewards. And it's the better path if you want to go quickly and just get to the end of the area. If you want runes and rewards, then the left path will be better. There's an elevator there. It takes you down to the next section, which I'll point out where it is from the other way. Here there's a Smithing Stone 3, and because we have the time, I'm going to go down the left path as well and show you what's down there. So, as I said, it also has better rewards. Here there's another Smithing Stone 3, so if you have the time to pick which one to go down, but you don't have the time to go down both, go down left. As I said, better rewards. Here there's a Golden Rune 10 and a Rune Arc, though it does come at the cost of being sworn by giant ants. So be careful, but they're not too difficult, and they have very low poise. So I believe in you, and if you don't want to fight giant ants, you can just run away. But here you get to the Ul Palace Ruins. This is the next section. And dropping down here, you get a Smithing Stone 4. And then jumping over here, you get a Celestial Dew. That doorway over there is where the Site of Grace and elevator would take you down. And there's no way to get up to the Smithing Stone 4 or Celestial Dew from here, so as I said, if you have the choice of going whichever way you want, go left, but both ways are good. And here, you may be able to tell, this enemy type is the new one, which you'll be seeing for the latter half of the area. And they're very slow, but have basically infinite poise. As you can see, even a two-handed charged attack did nothing to stop them. Though, as always, square off will pull through. Not super flashy, not super over the top, but it knows what you want, and it'll get it done. So it doesn't get a whole lot of attention from what I've seen, but it kind of should. And that attack where they raise their hand up, that's the grab attack where we got stabbed earlier, so be careful. And here, you can head through that doorway. Again, it is the shorter, faster path. There's some items over there, but nothing special. But over here, there's a slightly hidden path to the side. And just like with the other fork in the road before, the short way is shorter and faster if you just want to beeline to the end of the area, but the not short way is a bit better if you have the choice. Though it's not better for rewards, as you can see there, but it's better because it lets you kill that thing. So killing that means no more meteorites to the face, and no more hiding behind pillars and whatnot, meaning you'll be able to safely explore the area. Though, there is one good reward going this path, in 2 Smithing Stone 3 there. But continuing on, just make sure that you've always got a hiding spot, because the damage from those rocks will build up pretty quickly. So stay safe, don't die, and heading up here, you can get onto an even playing field with the enemy. You can use melee if you have the range to reach them, or you can sit behind the pillar and use ranged attacks. As you can see, longsword does have enough reach, so unless you're using like a dagger, you should be able to hit him. And here, you can safely drop down into this part, where you can get the map for the area. As you can see, and a merchant.
Is someone a customer? Well,
So from him, you can purchase the cookbook for Thaw, Frost, and Stimulating Boluses. Those are for frostbite and sleep. You can buy another cookbook, and you can purchase the Prisoner armor set, which you could get from being the Prisoner starting class. And then heading out, this area is sprinkled full of items, with 3 Smithing Stone 3 being here, being the main item. As I said, lots of other items, nothing too special, but I will go through grabbing them. Not gonna fight the enemies though, just for the sake of time. But heading down here, you can get a Ghost 2, Golden Urn 3, and up here and to the left. If you had gone straight forward down the fast path, that's where you'd come out. Though, as I said before, you can't kill the giant floating thing up above from down here. At least not with melee weapons. Though, if you just want to get to the end of this area as fast as possible, you can go through the straight way and immediately take a left to get to this site of grace, where you can sit down, take a breather, and get a summoning pool in case you need some help. And then you can continue on, where we are back to the giant ants. Taking care of that group, you can get 3 smithing stone 2. And you can get the immunizing horn charm, which raises immunity for poison and scarlet rot resistance. And then this is a little side area. There isn't anything super special here, but I am going to go through here, and those things spray death. That cloud will cause death blight, which is instant death. So be careful. But again, I believe in you. Now, the reason I decided to come up here is because there are some Aeonian butterflies. And they aren't super special. And if you don't do crafting, they're useless. But they are rare to get. And they are used in crafting things like preserving boluses for stopping scarlet rot, which can make them very important. So, if you care about that, then go up there. If you don't, you can skip that little section and just head straight on this way. And here, there's no more important items until the boss, so there are a few here and there, but don't feel like you need to go out of your way if you're short on time or if you just want to get to the boss. As always, square off is very powerful, and you can hit him a few times in the head before going for the critical, because you do have time to do that. And if I had done it there, then they almost certainly would have died. And then we wouldn't have to deal with any of this. So, play smart. Because in this fight, I did not. And it added so much time and struggle to this fight that just didn't need to be there. So, learn from my mistakes. But with that boss down, you get Frozen Lightning Spear. An incantation that, again, is okay. Not super special. It's not a must-have. But it does have its uses. However, if this was it, we wouldn't be coming here. The real reason we went after this boss is because of this. The Great Ghost Glowwort, which allows you to get these super special, powerful Spirit Ashes to the maximum upgrade of plus 10. But that's everything. That is all of Siofra River, everything that's important at least, and all of Einzel River. So that's a 2-in-1 for this part. And again, I didn't take out the bosses, but they don't give anything too special. And we also continued Ronnie's quest, which will lead us into Caelid for the next part. For now, that's it. As I said, in this run, we go through every weapon, shield, armor set, talisman, spirit ash, physic tier, and cookbook that you'll need no matter what build you're running in order to prepare for the Shadow of the Erdtree DLC. I hope you continue following me on this, and yeah.